morning. Today's class very much comes into celebrating spring, but today is actually quite cold. So it highlights how the change in the season can show up different elements, and in the body that translates into particularly the joints at the change of seasons can be quite stiff and creaky as we kind of change from one season to the other. So coming to standing and just being aware of the body, Tadasana, mountain pose. Press your feet into the ground. Just for a moment, place one hand on the navel and one hand at the chest centre, feeling or imagining a cord between the two hands. And that cord is straight, it's not buckled. And you'll find that that automatically adjusts your posture so that your torso is balanced and aligned perfectly over the hips and evens the weight all the way through to your feet. Just slightly turn your head from side to side and imagine a cord running all the way through the centre of your body, all the way up to the top of the head. And again, you might find that you slightly readjust your posture to come into a standing position. And then release your hands and just turn your head gently from one side to the other side, from one side through to the other side. Bring your head back to centre. And step with your feet hip width apart as we start with a very gentle foundational pose, going from side to side. Exploring this movement as we shift our weights fractionally from one foot to the other. The sway can be a little bit, or you can increase your sway, all very much up to you. In Tibetan yoga, the medicine side of Tibetan yoga is called yantra yoga, and you'll find this swaying movement very much within the yantra yoga practice. But you'll also find this swaying movement in many other Eastern practices, including Tai Chi. And then just slowing down. And coming to centre. Lift and roll your shoulders. Turn your head from one side to the centre to the other side and back to the centre. Come to the top of the mat. Again, working through all the energies. Inhale, exhale, hands at the heart centre. Inhale, stretch your arms up and almost slightly back. Breathing out, bend your elbows, bend your arms, and come to touch your fingers to either side of your feet. Step back with your right foot, keeping your right knee high for the moment, stretching back. through your right leg. Your right heel is upright. And we'll keep the leg high as we bring the left leg back. So you're in plank. Heels up. Then bend both knees back to the mat. And stretch out, come into line. Stretching your hands in front of you. Take an in and an out breath. Slide your hands back to your chest, elbows in. Press down on your hands and come back to kneeling. We'll just take a cat-cow while we're here. And on the cow, as you tuck your toes, tummy in, come to your dog, knees bent, lengthening along the spine. I'm going to adjust my feet slightly wider and slightly closer in. Bending my knees and then lengthening them. I'm going to bend one knee, straighten it and then bend the other knee. Again, bend one knee and then the other knee. Stretch back. Bend both knees to the ground, hands to the left, right foot up, hands either side of the right foot, and stretch into that right hip. Come back to your right foot being a 90-degree angle, your knee a 90-degree angle with the floor. Kneel up. You can bring your right foot to the outside edge of the mat if you need to. And breathing in, stretch your arms up, looking either ahead or upwards. Breathing out, lower your hands to either side of your front right foot. Tuck your left toes. Lift your left knee and step your left foot to your right foot. Hands on your shins, flat back. And then bend your knees, press your feet into the ground, and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Hands up, looking either up or straight ahead. Breathing out, lower your arms. Inhale, exhale, hands together. Inhale, arms up, stretch up. Breathing out, lower your hands. Step back with your left foot high. Keep it high. Step back with your right foot into plank. And then bend your knees to the floor and come to lie on your abdomen, stretching your hands out in front of you. Slide your hands back to your chest, elbows in. Press your hands onto the ground, come into a kneeling tabletop. Cat, and then as you round your back and your chin comes to your chest for cow, tuck your toes. Feel that you can adjust your hands and feet as you come to your dog. I'm adjusting my feet slightly wider and bringing my feet slightly in, bending my knees. Straightening my legs and then bending one knee, relaxing and releasing, and then bending the other knee. Walk the dog, bending one knee, and then the other knee. One knee, and then the other knee. Bend both knees, and then straighten your legs. Bend both knees back to the ground. Hands go to the right. creating space for your left foot to come up and the hands either side of your left foot, leaning into your left hip. And then come to your left knee being a 90-degree angle to allow you to kneel up. You can move your left foot out to the side if you need that for balance. Raising your arms up, stretching up. Breathing out, lowering your hands to the floor. Tucking the toes under, lifting your right knee and stepping your right foot to your left foot. Hands on the shins. Breathing in, lengthening the back. Breathing out, soften your knees, press your feet into the ground as you roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Raise your arms and breathing out, lower your hands. Inhale, exhale, hands together. Breathing in, raise your hands up. Breathing out, roll down. Step back with your right foot, left foot, plank. Kneel, come to lying on your front and stretch your hands out. Slide your hands back, elbows in, come to kneeling. And now come to bring your bottom towards your heels as you stretch out the other way. Extended child. Suppose you can bring your bottom towards your heels. Come to tabletop. Dip your back in cat. Round your back in cow and tuck your toes, tummy in. Come to your downward dog. Make any adjustments that you need as you walk the dog. Bend your knees to the ground. This time just simply bring your hands to the left. Right foot goes up, hands either side of your right foot. Tuck your back left toes, tummy in, and then lift up your left knee and step your left foot to your right foot. Just simply press your feet into the ground as you roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Hands up. Stretch your fingers. Lower your hands. Inhale, exhale, hands together. Inhale, hands up. Breathing out, roll down. Inhale, step back, left foot, right foot. Lower your knees and lower yourself to the ground. Stretching your arms out. Hands come back, elbows in. Press down to kneeling. Dip your back in cat. And then bring your back to round. And bring your bottom towards your heels as you stretch out. Come back to tabletop. Dip your back in cat. Round slightly as you tuck your toes and come into dog. Make any adjustments that you need to. Walk the dog or bend your knees and straighten them. And then bend both knees to the ground. Hands go to the right. The left foot comes up. Hands either side of the left foot.
And then just tuck your toes of the right foot, tummy in. Lift your right knee and step your right foot to your left foot. Bend your knees, press your feet into the ground and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing, hands up, stretching your hands. Breathing out, lower your hands. Come back to your mat and then circle your hands up. Stretch your fingers, circle your hands down, in and out. And then come to sit on the mat. Your feet are out in front of you. Lift the flesh from under your bottom if you want to set your pose. Hands very lightly touch the floor, fingers pointing in front of you. And just point and flex your feet a couple of times. And then circle your feet in one direction. And circle your feet, your ankles, in the other direction. And just stretch your toes out as we did with our fingers, and just release and relax. Bring your left leg out slightly to the left, extend your left heel. Bend up your right knee and open the right knee out to the right, sole of the right foot towards the inside of the left foot. Lengthen your spine as you touch your hand to either side of you. Breathing in, raising your arms up. You can just touch palms or you can hold your thumbs. It's whatever appeals to you, to turn to the left. And I'm going to bend my elbows to soften my descent from my lower back as I slide my hands along my left leg. Somewhere along the shin, breathing in, lengthen along your spine, your chin tucks in, and turn slightly towards the left. Using your hands as support against your shin. This is a version of Janushirasana, head to knee pose. You'll see that it's a forward bend. It's also a slight rotation as you turn towards your left knee or left leg. And it's opening up the right side of your groin, the inner groin, which connects into your lymph system and boosts our immune system. You might find that you can walk your hands down a little bit further. Tummy in as you slide your hands up your left leg. Come to the centre, hug your right knee in. Just lengthen your spine. And then slide your right leg out. Bring your left leg back. Just bounce your legs and just rub them, massaging your legs on the top and the bottom. Bring your right foot out to the right, extend your right heel, bend your left knee up. And open your left knee to the left. Left sole of the foot is pointing towards the inner right leg. You can always take a support or a cushion or bolster underneath that left leg if you need to. Touch your hands either side of you to lengthen your body. Raise your hands, either interlacing, just palms together or thumbs together. Turn to the right, and then either come straight over, which is great for a strong lower back, otherwise just bend your elbows and slide your hand down your legs.
Janusasana, and we're turning now to the right side. So this is quite difficult to concept, but as you press your hands down, feel that you're extending along the side here equally. It is difficult. There's a tendency to crunch down on your right side and extend the left. And that's almost impossible not to do, but you can just have a sense of pressing your hands down and evening up that extension on either side and then coming over. It's a subtle difference. Any forward bend is calming to the nervous system. And in Janusasana, we're also slightly in a rotational movement. So our spine is slightly moving to one side, and then this side going over towards our right leg. We're extending the left side. It is natural to crunch down and squash slightly on your right side. It's just an awareness to try and even it up. You won't get it totally even, sure. So any spinal movement like this is realigning for the spine, as one side is stretched and then the other. Pressing your hands down, sliding them up, hands up. Hands either side of you. Hug your left knee into your chest. Extend your left leg out along the floor. Bring your right leg in. And just again bounce. Maybe try tapping. And then go back to rubbing and see if you have a preference. Soles of the feet together. Sitting up, lengthening your spine, and then just round, and perhaps bring your thumbs to the soles of your feet and just gently massage the soles of your feet. Wherever feels good is good to massage. In reflexology, we've got various meridians, or meridian points on our feet. So here you can almost access the whole body. Perhaps get your thumbs and massage the inside of your ankle joint. And then perhaps get your hands and just massage the tops of your feet on the outside. And in between the bones where the fingers naturally form are little grooves, and they form part of your lymph system. It can be soothing just to gently run your fingers in between the bones on the tops of your feet. And then come to a cross-legged position. And tense everything, your perineum, your bottom, and just release. Tense everything and just release. And tense everything up internally and then release. It's a peristalsis movement that's activated, where it can start to tone the insides of us really, tone our pelvic floor certainly. And then just sitting up, breathing out, rounding. So we're doing a seated cat-cow, sitting up, lengthening the spine, breathing out, rounding, chin comes to the chest. Sitting up and rounding. Sitting up
sitting up and round. Come back to a seated position, and we're going to come to lie on the floor, so bend your knees, uncross your ankles, and come to lying, taking your time, on the floor. Perhaps starting with knees bent, feet hip width apart. Hands either palms down, or palms up, or palms on the abdomen. As you just gently start to sway the knees from side to side. You can start to involve your head, so your head can move perhaps away from the direction of your knees. Everything, head and knees, come back to the centre, and then your knees move into the opposite direction and your head moves away. So a few more in your own time. Bring your knees back to the centre and feel that you can adjust your feet. I'm going to bring mine slightly closer to my bottom. I'm pressing my feet down to lift and adjust my bottom. And then I'm bringing the palms of my hands behind my head. I'm going to choose to clasp my hands together, my elbows are opening outwards. Breathing out, and I'm going to flatten my back to the ground and just lift up slightly. My elbows can bend in, and then just lower back down. My elbows can open out. Breathing out, flattening the lower back, lifting up, and then breathing out, just relaxing. Relax back down, and maybe your bottom, your lower back lifts slightly. Breathing out, lifting up. Breathing in as you go back. Take an in and an out breath. This time, as you breathe out, lift your head up and lead with your left elbow to go over towards the right slightly. Inhale back to the centre and lower back down to the ground, or you could just partially lower to the ground. As you breathe out, lifting up your head and bringing your right elbow over towards the left and returning your head back to the centre. One more time as you breathe out, lifting up, and your left elbow goes over towards your right, towards the right knee. You won't get anywhere near your right knee, just that general direction. And then breathing out, lifting up, and just very gently bring your right elbow over towards the left, and then come back down again. Bring your head to the ground, release your clasped hands from underneath. Bring your hands to hug your left knee into your chest and extend your right leg along the ground. Circle your left knee a few times in one direction whilst you're still holding it. And then circle your left knee a few times in the other direction. Then clasping your left knee into your chest, roll your entire body towards the right. For the moment, keep your left hand on your left waist. Your right hand can go somewhere along the left thigh. And you can either look up or gently turn your head towards the left, looking where your eyes naturally fall, or looking along the floor, which will involve a greater turn of the head. Just check into that right leg and see if you're extending your right heel. And take a couple of breaths in and out here. This is working on the lower sacral energy centre, the chakra. And it's a sacral or lower sacral rotation. And then roll onto your back. Hug your left knee into your chest once more. And place your left foot onto the floor. Slide your right leg in, hugging your right knee in towards your chest. And extend your left leg along the floor. Circle your right knee in one direction. Circle your right knee in the other direction. Bringing the knee back to the centre. And then roll the entire body, lifting the hip as well, over towards the left. Your left hand can go somewhere along the right thigh. And for the moment, bring your right hand on your right waist, opening out your right elbow and creating space for your right lung in particular. Turning your head to either look up to the ceiling, or if you want a greater turn to your head, and turn your head further to the right, looking either up or along the floor. And your eyes can be open or they can be closed. This is a wonderful lower release in the sacral area, lower spine area. If you wanted to stay here longer, you could always have support under your knees. So in this case, it would be the right knee in the bolster just to rest. It's a very opening pose. You can feel the turn on the right side as your knee moves to the left. And then very gently roll onto your back again. Place your right foot on the floor. Bend your left knee and place your left foot on the floor. Both feet are on the floor. Press your feet down and lift and resettle your back onto the floor. It's likely to have moved out of position slightly. So settle yourself to be comfortable. And then bend one knee into the chest and then the other. Clasp your hands behind you, your thighs, and raise your feet to the ground, from the ground upwards to the ceiling. Extend your heels and point your feet. Extend your heels and point your feet. And then circle your ankles in one direction. And circle your ankles in the other direction.
Stretch your toes out and release and relax. And then bend your knees in towards your chest and just gently rock from side to side. And either rock up to a seated position or roll to the right and come to a seated position. Taking your time, there's no hurry. And come to face forwards, stretching your legs out in front of you again, lifting the flesh from underneath you. Bounce your legs on the ground. Cross your left ankle over your right. And just sitting tall, raise your right hand, tummy in, and bring your right hand to the outside of your left thigh. And your left hand goes behind you. Press your left hand or fingers down into the floor as you lengthen your spine. And breathing out, turn very gently towards the left. Your head is the last thing to turn. Breathing in, lengthen along the spine. And breathing out, turn to the left. Breathing in, lengthen. And breathing out, turn to the left. Take an in and an out breath here. Come back to the centre, uncross your legs, and just slide your hands down your shins. You might like to stay with your hands resting on your shins, or you might be able to take hold of your big toes with the second and third finger underneath and the thumb on the top. Just take a couple of breaths coming forward. Tummy in, and slide your hands up your legs, touching hands either side of you. And this time, cross your right leg over your left at the ankles, lengthen your spine, raising your left arm upwards and tummy in as you turn towards the right, placing your left hand somewhere along the right thigh, and your right hand goes behind you, pressing either the palm of the hand or the fingers down, lengthening your spine. And as you breathe out, you'll turn to the right. Breathing in, pressing down to lengthen your spine, and breathing out, turn to the right. Breathing in, pressing down, and breathing out, turn to the right. Stay here for an in and an out breath. Come back to the centre, unravel your feet, and just slide your hands down, either resting at the shin level or going a little bit further if you've got the capacity to hold your big toes. Thumbs on top, second and third fingers underneath. Breathing in and out. Tummy in as you slide your hands up and just bend your knees. We're coming back to lying on the mat again. Knees up to the ceiling, feet hip distance apart on the floor. Bend your left knee into the chest. Raise your left leg up to the ceiling. Extend your left heel. Now point your left toes and lower your left leg to the floor. As it touches the floor, extend the left heel and then bend the left leg in towards you again. Sole of the left foot up to the ceiling, extend the left heel, point the toes and lower the left foot to the floor. I like to just extend my heel as it comes to the floor. Bend the left leg in last time. Sole of the foot to the ceiling, extending the left heel. Point the left toes and lower the left leg. Extend the left heel and then just hug that left knee into the chest. And place the left foot on the floor. Hands either resting on the abdomen or palms down. Bend the right knee into the chest. Extend the right leg up towards the ceiling and extend the left sole of the foot, left heel, the right heel. Point the right toes and lower the right leg to the ground. I like to extend my right heel just as it touches the ground and then bend my right leg in towards my chest. Extend the leg upwards, extend the heel. Point the toes and lower that leg. And last time, bend the right knee into the chest. Extend the right leg. Point the toes. Lower the foot. Bend the right knee and hug the right knee into the chest. Place the right foot on the floor. Palms are either palms down on the floor beside you on the mat or feet further apart. Or hands on the abdomen. The feet can be further apart. And just start to sway your knees from side to side. And you are lifting your hips up to do that. And the further apart you have your feet, almost to the edge of the mat, the more you can sway over. The amount of sway is entirely up to you. You can choose that your head joins in, or just keep your head still. And then bring your knees back to the centre. Hug your knees in. And then come to a seated position by either rocking up or rolling to the right. Take your time. Press your left palm into the ground to support you as you come up, both hands on the ground, and then come round. Bend your right knee and cross your left leg over your right knee, hugging into your left knee. That might be enough for you. You can always take support as a cushion underneath your bottom. You can raise your right arm, hug your right knee into you and left hand behind, turning to the left. And you can raise your right arm and just bring your elbow over, hooking it so as it
your choice. Come back to the centre, hugging your left knee into you, and just slightly nod forward over that knee. And then sitting up, hands either side of you. And we're going to cross over, so unravel your left leg off your right, bend your left knee and place your left knee on the ground. Your right leg goes over it, it's like fish pose, hugging your knees into your chest. And then choose how you want to turn to the right. I'm going to raise my left arm, hug my right knee into me and turn to the right. You can always hook your elbow if this feels good. And you'll feel this rotation slightly higher up than previous ones, almost behind the heart level. Come back to the centre and just very gently lean slightly forward. So we're going to come to standing. There are ways just to unravel your legs, or you can just place your hands on the ground to rock forward onto your knees. If you were super energetic, you would rock forward and jump back and then walk your legs forward. But I'm going to go in very slow motion, rolling over. Then I unravel my legs, bring my knees back to an equal level, tuck my toes, and I'm going to roll up very gently, vertebra by vertebra, to standing. And once you're up to standing, just lift and roll your shoulders. Turn your head from side to side. Step your feet out into a triangle, stretching them out. And turn your left foot in, your right foot out. Hands up, classic warrior, soften the front right knee, drop your weight centrally, look over the fingers of your front hand, feel that someone's just pulling you back with your back hand to make sure that you're not coming over, you're dropping your weight centrally, just check that the knee is not coming in. And then straighten your legs, just raise your right hand and look up to your right thumb. Hands out. Reverse your feet so your right foot comes in and your left foot turns out. And then drop your weights subtly, looking over your front hand, which is your left hand now. Feel that someone's just pulling you back. The line between your front foot and your inner arch of your back foot should be where you're aiming for. And then dropping your back right hand, straightening slightly your front leg and looking up to your left thumb. Lowering your left hand, bringing your feet parallel, sliding your hands down your legs. Forward bend, just rest your hands on the floor, bending your elbows, bending your knees. And then if you've got capacity, just begin to straighten your legs. You can shift your weight from the left foot to the right foot to the left. Taking an in and an out breath as you're coming forward.
And then heel toe your feet in to hip widths apart. And when your feet are comfortably hip width apart, soften both knees, press your feet down, and once more roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing.
You might want to readjust your feet. I'm going to bring my feet slightly closer. Breathing in, raise your left, it doesn't matter, I'm going to raise my right arm, and then holding the left thigh with the left hand, just tilt over to the left, chin in. It's a Tibetan triangle option or variation. I'm not going to go very far, I'm just coming over, almost bouncing in and out dynamically. Breathing in, raising the right hand up and lowering the right arm. Breathing in, raise the left arm. Just have your fingers holding the right thigh to support you. And then just coming over. Feel that you're between two plates of glass. Bouncing slightly in and out. Press your feet down to come up and lower your hands. Lift and roll your shoulders. Breathing in, raise both hands. Clasp and reverse the hands upwards towards the ceiling. And this becomes a balance as we raise our heels off the ground, bouncing on our feet. Engaging our mind to focus on our balance. And then breathing out, lower your hands and lower your heels. Ideally both should be come together, down and feet on the floor at the same time, but that is a wish, not necessarily reality. And just lift and roll your shoulders. Turn your head to the left and turn your head to the right. And once more, head to the left and then to the right. And then just bring your hands together as we bend our knees and lower back down to the ground. And come to a semi, it's not a shoulder stand, it's an option or variation on inversion. So come to lying on the backs, knees bent. Have your hands down, palms on the floor. Just lift your bottom and place your palms on the floor, slightly under your bottom or close to your bottom, so that your bottom has the nearest support. Bend both knees into the chest. Feel you need to adjust your hands. They don't have to be here. And then just raise your feet to the ceiling and just slightly sway your feet from side to side. If you prefer, you can actually then release your hands and hold underneath the thighs. That suits some people. And it also suits some people to hold inside the thighs. Your feet will go slightly wider. Or you can hold up to your shins. Or if you really feel like going for it, hold your big toes. Your feet might want to widen a little bit more. So inversion, just for a moment or two. You can rock from side to side. And then very gently hug your knees into your chest. And once more, rocking from side to side. And then placing the feet on the floor. Knees bent, feet hip width apart. So have a sense of almost
just lifting your chest, your shoulders come underneath you. You're just lifting from the chest area and then just release back down to the ground. And just now do a couple of pelvic tilts, flattening your back to the ground as if you're going to lift your bottom, and then releasing so that there's a little gap underneath your lower back. And flatten, release a few times. It's almost like doing a cat-cow, but with your back supported fully by the earth. And then just very gently turn your head from side to side. We're focusing on the throat here and the neck, of course. And take one hand and just very gently slide your fingers from one edge of the forehead, tracing your fingers across your forehead and coming off at the other side. Again, stroking your fingers across your forehead and coming off the other side. And stroking across, coming off at the other side. And now just bring your focus to the crown of the head, the very top of your head. And choose a colour that resonates with you today. And just imagine being cocooned, your whole body inside and out, in an egg of that colour of your choice. Like a pink Easter egg or blue Easter egg. You're identifying with that colour. And you might like to take a moment to have a thought for the day, to wish yourself or somebody close to you a very lovely day ahead, or a wish for them in some way. And just let that thought repeat a couple of times. Setting your intention for the day. And then just lower your hands, resting them on your abdomen, so your elbows will be slightly out to the side. You're creating space here for the lungs. And tuning into the breath as the abdomen just very subtly rises on the inhale and just moves away from you as you breathe out. Breathing in on the inhalation and moving away from you as you breathe out. Again, breathing in and breathing out. Just gently open your elbows out slightly wider and move your hands subtly up to cradle and hold your lower ribs. And imagine breathing into your hands, that the breath is going horizontally, breathing in. Feel your ribs expanding and breathing out. You feel them subtly move away. And then finally, just bring your elbows in slightly and touch your fingertips towards your collarbone. And imagine as you breathe in that the breath is travelling all the way up to your fingers, filling you up, right up to the fingertips.
And then just slide your hands back once more to your abdomen. And lying here, you can just stay lying and relaxing. If you want to join me to come to the end of class, then just either mentally take a bow for yourself, bring your hands, palms together to the brow centre, taking a bow for yourself. Have a very lovely day ahead, and thank you very much for joining me.